from the Buck Rogers. What else?
Yeah, the Buck Rogers also talking about whether folks are for cancel culture. Sorry, whether folks are for cancel culture or not. A lot of people feel cancel culture is mainly for men and not women. Take Chrissy Teigen. She made tons of pedo-like jokes back in 2012. She deleted 60,000 old tweets recently and made her profile private. I read some of them. They are gross, like WTF. She even joked that Lady Gaga is a man. The only folks I see trying to cancel her are mainly folks from the far right and not everyone.
I mean, if it's true, I mean, there is a point there.
I couldn't find anything on them. I tried to do some research, and I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm like, please, Buck Rogers, if you know, I don't know how deep down this rabbit hole I have.
If Chrissy Teigen has already accepted you as a friend and you got the screenshots, please share. But let's go on the basis of if it's true. Like, what do you think about that?
The concept that
if she made these jokes and whatnot, and nothing's happening to her.
I mean, it's hard again because I couldn't find. I saw there's been like a lot of, from what I can tell, pretty baseless claims trying to tie Chrissy Teigen in with some of the Epstein stuff. Mm-hmm. And from what I saw, that was why she deleted a lot of stuff. Again, it's hard to speak to jokes when I don't know what the jokes are, allegedly. I don't think women, I don't know if I'd agree that women don't face cancel culture. I think certain figures, there's like definitely a belovedness factor that can protect you, where people are a little more like, well, maybe we just turn a blind eye to that because it was just a joke and I like her and she's funny and we all kind of love Chrissy Teigen or whatever. Also, it does become this weird, like the James Gunn stuff. I know a lot of that was like a similar, like right wing trying to tear him down and digging up these jokes and going, well, why aren't you mad about it? So it becomes a whole weird political thing. It becomes a whole like, well, we like this person, we like their work, and we don't want to cancel them. But again, I think we've talked before too. I think a lot of stuff when it is just jokes, I do have a real like. I think if it's words, maybe an apology is sufficient. But again, if I'm not in the community that's being offended, I don't feel like it's my place to call, oh, that's okay, now we can forgive them. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting question to bring up.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. What's fair is fair. I see like it's one of two things that's happening. Either A, unlike Hartley from the Flash TV show series, Chrissy Teigen was able to read the tea leaves and see where the things were going and hurry up and got ahead of it as she realized her and not just her husband's fame was going in a certain direction and she was getting a lot more attention and either got ahead of it and deleted 60,000 old tweets. Come on, that's a lot of tweets, and setting it to private, or maybe like you said, you researched it and you couldn't really see it. You saw attempts to tie her, but then you were also seeing the people that were trying to tie her to something that could quote unquote cancel her. So it could just be people just trying to cancel her because of where she stands on things. And then the third possibility is that maybe we're picking and choosing. Maybe because she is so loved on a whatever you wanted to call it, a liberal sense. And if cancel culture is more liberal than it is anything else, maybe they're like ignoring it a little, giving her some more slack than they would normally give anybody else. For example, like Alyssa Milano, when the whole thing about blackface was coming out there, old video that she did, a picture that she did came up. Like, isn't this blackface? You're supposed to be like the queen of the liberals. What's up with this? How come you're not getting canceled? And she was like, I think she addressed it once. She was like, I wasn't doing blackface. I was making fun of one of those Jersey Shore girls. That was a tan, not blackface. But I mean, so some it could be blackface, or some it's not. So, and it doesn't seem like much is going to happen to Alyssa Milano. So, is cancel culture? If cancel culture is a person, is he or she picking and choosing? Maybe, or maybe. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was just gonna say, I will say this on the gender divide, because I was trying to think, like, do men get it harder on that front? And I will say,
Megan Kelly got fired twice.
but when it's issues of like consent or something of a sexual nature, I do think there is a tendency, like, there's that unfortunate, like, I have, there are instances where I feel like things have come out about women that would shut down a man's career.
Right.
And I think we do have a little bit more of like oh, but it's a girl, which is obviously ridiculous and like should not slide.
Oh, you're right. Like
A bit of the like men can't, be assaulted in this way sort of mindset, which is really stupid and wrong. But I would say for some of that, I could see the argument being made that like there have been like female comedians and female figures where if these things come out about them, we're quicker to kind of just sweep it under the rug and go.
I wanted. You know what? You're right. I wanted to share it, and I decided not to at the last minute. I forgot the singer's name. I think he's a Texas country singer. He was on a gig. I forgot his name, but he was on stage. And while he was singing, some woman was just jumped on stage with him and started harassing him. And like she wanted to touch on him and stuff. I guess she admired him. And he had to stop playing his guitar. And he was like, ma'am, like, could you stop? Could you please like stand like 7 feet away from me? Because this was like a couple of days ago. He's trying to social distance. Mm-hmm. And he said the only reason why he had to go out and try to do a little concert because he needed, he needs to do some gigs and pay some bills. And then this woman was just all in his personal bubble and just like, and
there's the health issue right now, but also, if that happened to, to a country artist, if a man jumped on stage and started doing that.
Like 10 guys would have swarmed the stage to pull him off of her.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it was like, is it because it's a guy? Maybe all the other guys were like, you got it. You can handle it. Don't be. But then when he made a statement about it later, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but I'll look it up later. But he made such a good point, and he was like, all I was trying to do was get up on stage and work so I can pay my bills and take care of my family. Now I got to wonder about this crazy person who I asked very nicely multiple times to keep their distance away from me, and she purposely got in my face, coughed on me on purpose, and then and when you watch the video, she was all like, when he told her firmly, get away from me, I'm not playing. Yeah. She was like, are you serious? And he's like, yes. Like, and he was talking to somebody behind the camera. Could somebody get her away from me, please? Like, it got to a point where then the audience started booing her, and then she was like, fine. Like I was like, are you drunk? Are you day drinking or something? But after that, he was like, now I got to sit here and worry that I'm going to get sick now, and I have a newborn baby in the house and all this stuff. So it was like, dude, if this was a lady, how fast would that guy have been dragged off that stage? Yeah. And I talked about that a lot when it came to the attention about the teachers, I guess, and their students when they were having that whole thing where it was laughed at for years happening, and to this day it still happens way more.
They'll say the like, oh, lucky kids, where it's like, no, this.
Exactly. And how many times was it when it was a male teacher that you couldn't get thrown under the jail fast enough? And then people even had the argument, well, because the act of sex is more where the male is technically more in a controlling kind of a situation. That's why a woman, how can a woman do this to a guy? And like it's about the power dynamic. It's about the fact that she's an adult. It's about the fact that it's a minor. It's like, dude, like, take your whole physical aspect out of it for a second and think about it the way the way it should be thought about, and then ask yourself how would you have reacted, or how should you have reacted. But I don't know. That's like maybe we're going nicer on Teigen. Or maybe not. I don't know. I didn't see them. I don't know what she said. But like I said, if you have screenshots of it, share it, and maybe we can talk about it again. Okay, we've been on that one for a long time. Let's move on to the next one.
On the T3 Media's on a cheerier subject, talking about Palm Springs, Jose Lin says, it's funny